Where's my Blankie? Where's Graham? Where's Levi? Where's Lila? This is a library book that I took out from the library. I borrowed it. And Levi, I think we sort of read it yesterday, didn't we? Or by the time you watch this, I don't know, maybe it's 2 days ago, a week ago, whatever. But I thought Levi would like this and Lila, because you guys both have Blankies, don't you? Yellow Blankie. And Lila, what do you call your Blankie, hon? Do you call it Blankie? Do you call it gray and white Blankie? Do you call it honey bun? Do you call it snuggle pie? Graham's having a little drink. Because I'm thirsty. I went for a walk and I'm thirsty. Well, somebody here has a blanket. Remember? This guy, I forget his name. Levi, do you remember his name? I really have no idea, but we're going to find out in the book. It's called Where's My Blankie? And see that sign? You know what that sign says. It says Sesame Street. Oh yeah, remember we looked at all the guys? You told me who all these guys were. Oh, remember this one? This is a dolly. I said, Aunt M has one of these or two of these. And your mommy has one? I don't know. Maybe I've seen one at your house. That's Raggedy Andy and there's a Raggedy Ann and a Raggedy Andy. And all those guys and toys and stuff on that page. Oh, this book's a little ripped up. Somebody try to fix some of this. Look at this. Peekaboo. That's bad. I shouldn't have done it. Somebody ripped the book. But we shouldn't. We don't want to make it worse. All right, let's find out. Where's my Blankie? Malcolm Monster. That's his name. Malcolm Monster. Malcolm Monster never went anywhere without his blanket. He took it to breakfast. He took it to the park. Now, I know you guys don't take your blankets to those places, which is very smart. But I guess Malcolm Monster takes his blanket all over the place. He took it to playgroup. He took it to the P&Q supermarket. Malcolm always took his blanket to bed, but not to keep him warm, to snuggle. I never thought of it that way. Do you guys, do your Blankies keep you warm? Maybe they do, but mostly it's to snuggle, right? You like to snuggle with Yellow Blankie and Lila's Blankie? The day of Prairie Dawn's birthday party, Malcolm helped his mommy wrap the presents, and then he was ready to go. You won't need your blanket at the birthday party, dear, she said, putting the present in a shopping bag, but Malcolm took it anyway. There's Malcolm, right? And there's his Blankie on his lap. What does this say? Does anyone know? It says, Happy birthday! I'll tell you, those Sesame Street guys, they celebrate lots of birthdays, don't they? I feel like I've read a lot of books that have somebody's having their birthday. And there they all are, looking at that cake. Malcolm Monster never played anything without his blanket. He played Super Monster. He's using his Blankie as a cape. I think I've seen Levi do that. Malcolm used his blanket for everything. He used it for a beach towel. Is that him using it for a beach towel? He used it as a Halloween costume. Remember that page, Levi? I think he's trying to be a ghost, and he put the blanket on his head. When Malcolm's blanket got monstrously dirty, his mommy washed it. Just like your mommy puts your Blankie in the wash. And when it got ripped and torn and tattered, she mended it. Malcolm didn't mind. I think your mommy did the same thing when your Blankie started to fall apart a little bit. When fall came, the Monster family prepared to visit Grandma and Grandpa. Mommy and Daddy thought Malcolm should leave his blanket at home. You're too old to take it, Daddy said. It's too shabby, Mommy said. You don't mind leaving it at home this time, do you, Malcolm? They said. But Malcolm did mind. He doesn't want to leave it home. On the way to Grandma and Grandpa's house, they stopped at Hasty Johnson's for lunch. Malcolm put his blanket in his lap as usual. Look, Daddy, said Malcolm's sister. Malcolm brought his blanket. Baby monster, she chanted. That will be enough, Monia, said Daddy. They're calling him a baby. He's not a baby, is he? He just wants to hold his blankie. While they ate lunch, Mommy Monster again told the story of the blanket. Grandma Monster had made the quilt as a baby gift when Malcolm was born. When he was a tiny monster, he had slept with it every night and had played on it every day. You see, she said, Malcolm has always had his blanket. She turned to him and smiled. But Malcolm, you are getting to be a big monster. It's up to you, but I don't think that you need your blanket anymore. Malcolm thought that he did. That's the same story as with you, Levi, because your great-grandma, right, great-grandma Jackie, made you that blanket when you were born. And I think you've slept with that almost every day, haven't you, since then? You're just like Malcolm Monster. That's pretty cool. The Grand Monsters were joyful when the family arrived. I have a surprise for you, Grandma Monster said to Malcolm and Monia. I made new quilts, one for each of you, out of clothes that you've outgrown. Oh, thank you, they said, giving her a monster hug. Oh, look, she made new blankies. You think they're going to want new blankies? Would you want a different yellow blankie, Levi? I don't think so. That night, when Grandma peeked in at the sleeping younger monsters, she saw that Malcolm was still sleeping with his blanket. Is he sleeping with the old one? On the last day of the visit, Grandma and Grandpa Monster and all the aunt and uncle and cousin monsters had a wonderful monster picnic. Malcolm played with his cousins right up until the minute he got in the car to go home. Wow, that is a big fun picnic. Look at that. Someone's on a swing and they're playing ball and a dog is running around and they're eating all sorts of food. Super fun. Somebody's in a hammock in the tree. There were many monster hugs and kisses, and then the monster family drove away. Goodbye, called the monster cousins. Come back soon. Malcolm was so tired that he slept all the way home. Daddy carried him inside and tucked him into his own bed. Do you guys sometimes fall asleep in the car when you come home from a long trip? I think you do, right? Sometimes Graham wants to fall asleep when Poppy's driving and we're coming home from somewhere far. My eyes won't stay open. I just want to fall asleep, but I feel bad to leave Poppy driving without me awake, so I usually try to stay awake. The next morning, Malcolm had drunk his orange juice and was halfway through his Monster Berry Crunch when suddenly he stopped eating and put down his spoon. Where's my blankie? He asked. Isn't it in your room? Asked Mommy. Go look under your bed. Malcolm did. It's not in my room, he wailed. His stomach felt sick. Didn't you pack it in your toy bag? Asked Monia. Go look. Malcolm looked in the toy bag he had taken to Grandma's. It isn't here. Maybe we left it in the car, said Daddy. I'll go see. But it wasn't there either. Where do you think they left it? My blankie is lost. Where's my blankie? Malcolm began to cry. Don't worry, dear, said Mommy. We must have left it at Grandma's. So Mommy called Grandma Monster on the telephone and told her about the lost blanket. Grandma looked in the kitchen and outside under the apple tree. Then she looked under the sofa, and that's where she found Malcolm's blanket. Look at that. It's under the couch. I'll mail it to Malcolm right away, she promised. That morning, Betty Lou came over and played hopscotch with Malcolm. There's Betty Lou. Did you ever play hopscotch? You can make a board with chalk out in your driveway. Malcolm was very brave. He waited patiently for the mail truck. There's the mail truck. But the only package delivered on the block was a box of paperback books for Hooper's store. That afternoon, Malcolm played on the tire swing with Ernie and Bert and the Sesame Street gang. After dinner, Malcolm listened to Mommy read a story. When she finished, he asked, "How am I going to go to sleep without my blankie?" "You slept pretty well last night," said Daddy. "I'll bet you can do it again." And he did. The next day, Bert and Malcolm set up an apple juice stand on Sesame Street. Malcolm was so busy that he forgot to watch for the mail truck. Look, we were just talking about this, setting up a lemonade stand, but they're selling apple juice. Who's buying a glass of apple juice? Cookie Monster. Ooh, look. Looks like he's buying a lot of cups and he threw them on the floor by mistake. He'll have to pick those up. The next day, Cookie Monster and Malcolm made 4 dozen monster munchies. "Malcolm," Mommy said, "a package just arrived from you, from Grandma. It must be your blanket." "Oh, thanks, Mom," he said. "I'll open it later." And Malcolm and Cookie Monster put the munchies in the oven to bake. Malcolm wasn't very hungry at dinner time. He told Mommy and Daddy and Monia all about his day. He was so tired that he was ready for bed right after dinner. "I put your blanket on your bed," Mommy told him when he kissed her goodnight. Malcolm yawned. "Thanks, Mom," he said. "I forgot all about it. Good night, everybody." And there he is, sleeping with his blankie. What'd you think of that story? That was a good one. He thought he needed his blanket, but then he was able to sleep without it, but he was happy to have it back. I was remembering when I was a little girl, I had a blankie too. I think it might have been pink. Nobody made it for me. It came from a store. And once, I went away with my family, and we left the blanket in a hotel. Oh. And you know what? We never got it back because we drove away and we drove far, far, far. And I don't know what happened, but we just never got the blanket back. But I survived, right? Here I am without that blankie. All right. Hope you like that Sesame Street book. Where's my blankie? Give your yellow blankie and your gray and white blankie big hugs. Love you guys.